Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. On this channel, we take our time reviewing fantasy of all sorts, from books to movies to video games, analyzing them and implementing them in the tabletop game Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition. Today, though, we're going to be having a look at a built-in mechanic to the game D&D itself. Specifically, we're going to be looking at the class of Bard. Bard is one of the most popular classes to play as they are a true jack of all trades, capable of high-level magic, high-level melee combat, high-level ranged combat, and high-level negotiation, exploration. They do it all. We're going to be looking at their core class features today, analyzing them one by one. The subclasses will come in different videos. So the Bard starts off with a hit die of a D8. This is one of the lower tier hit dice, so they're not the tankiest fighters in the world. Still not terrible, not as low as some of the other spellcasters, so I give them an 8 out of 10 for this. They start off wearing only light armor. Light armor is helpful when you're a high dex-based character, but it does take away some of that heavier, again, tankiness. The Bard is not that great at being a tank. I give them a 7 out of 10 for this limited armor selection. Now, weapons. They get simple weapons, and they get a selection of a few different martial weapons. This means that they've got plenty of options when it comes to being a brute force or ranged fighter, or a finesse fighter if they want to use their dex, which a lot of bards do. I give them a 9 out of 10 for this. The only way they could be better is if they had all martial weapons, but it's not needed, really. Now, tools. Bards don't get any artisan tools off the bat, but they do get a selection of instruments that they can be proficient in. This can come in handy in very specific situations, performance checks, or if you have to do some sort of musical challenge, but this is a pretty niche thing, so I give this a 6 out of 10 for just overall game usability. Then there's their saving throws. Their saving throws are dexterity and charisma. In my opinion, dex is the best saving throw in the game to be proficient in. Charisma's pretty moderate. I give them a 10 out of 10 and 8 out of 10, respectively. Then there's their skills, and this is where the Bard really shines. Not only do they get 3 skill selections, but they can select any skill they want. Literally any skill. No other class can do that, so I give them a 9 out of 10 for the amount and a 10 out of 10 for the selection. Spellcasting. This is the first power you get as a Bard, and it is a key component as Bards are full casters, going all the way up to level 9 spells, and their charisma is their main casting ability. Can't get much better than that. 10 out of 10 for Bard spells. Now, Bardic Inspiration is the bread and butter of the Bard. The Bard uses their power to bolster one of their allies, and allows them to buff an ability, attack, or saving throw with a Bardic Inspiration die. This is what the Bard really is here for, and most other Bard powers lean into Bardic Inspiration. 10 out of 10, nobody else can buff their friends this easily. Then, the Jack of all Trades ability. The iconic name that the Bards are known for, the Jack of all Trades. This power means that of the skills you didn't choose, or that you didn't get given by your background or your class, all your non-proficient skills, guess what? You get to add your proficiency bonus, half of it, to all of these skill checks, meaning that there is no skill check that you'll get a negative on, pretty much. Even with the base stats, you don't have anything lower than an 8, which means that's a -1, but your proficiency bonus can't be lower than 2, so that means at most, at absolute worst, you'll be rolling with a 0, and that means that a Bard can't be bad at anything, really. Another power is the Song of Rest. The Song of Rest, oh, I forgot, Jack of all Trades, 10 out of 10, obviously. The next power, the Song of Rest. The Song of Rest means that anytime you take a short rest, you can use your bardic power to play a song for everyone, and it gives them extra health on those short rests. Short rests are a pretty key component to the game for most classes, giving them either health or some of their skills back, so 9 out of 10, extra health is always good. Then there's the Expertise skill. The Expertise skill is one of the most coveted skills in the game because it allows you to double your proficiency with your skills, with certain ones anyway. You pick your favorites, and all of a sudden you, even at low levels, have a hard time failing your favorite skill checks. 10 out of 10 for expertise. Bards get ability score improvements 5 times from level 1 to 20. This is very standard, not particularly special, 8 out of 10 for that. Then there's the Font of Inspiration. The Font of Inspiration means that rather than waiting all the way till your long rest to regain your used Bardic Inspiration, you can regain it on a short rest once per long rest, effectively doubling the Bardic Inspiration you'll get for the day. Since Bardic Inspiration is what we're here for, this is a 10 out of 10 power. Next up is Counter Charm. Counter Charm's a tricky one. You have to use an action in order to effectively stop spells from affecting your party as much. It gives you advantage against charm and fear effects from anyone who's within a range of you. But you also have to use an action to start this song that you play. It requires a bit of foresight on your part, and requires your action as well. Not the most mechanically useful ability. I give it a 6 out of 10. Then there's Magical Secrets. Magical Secrets is one of the most powerful abilities the Bard gets, because it allows them to plunder spells a few times as they level up from other spell lists. The Bard spell list is a little limited. It's one of the shorter spell lists in the game, still full of absolute bangers, and you can't go wrong with it, but being able to plunder spells, including cantrips and high-level spells at later levels, from wizards, from warlocks, from druids and clerics, and basically grab your favorites from everywhere and go off to the races and become the best spellcaster around. Definitely a 10 out of 10 power. And finally, at the end, Superior Inspiration. This is a pretty common ability for characters that have dice that power up their abilities. Basically, if you have no Bardic Inspiration left when you roll initiative, you automatically get some. Not the greatest capstone ability, but it certainly leans into that Bardic Inspiration power, so 8 out of 10 for that. At the end of the day, what can you say about the Bard? One of the classics, one of the most iconic. The Bard is a 9 out of 10 class when you crunch all the numbers together. It's hard to go wrong with a Bard. Unless you really want to be that tanky fighter, you can't go wrong. You want to use magic? Go for it. The Bard gets Magical Secrets and a full 9 levels of spells. You want to be a fighter? Go ahead. Lean into your dexterity and use ranged or finesse weapons, and as the face of the party, both the performer and the charismatic charmer, the Bard does it all. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe to the channel, and come on back. We're going to be making a lot more content here soon. Have a good one, my friends.